Roman numerals kata, so we're going to start another Maven project and Roman numerals, and it's going to be a video version. So this is going to create a new project, and we can see it here. One thing we just need to do here is TDD, which is our key mapping, and then we can start to look at our I always make these manually, and okay, and then we create our class, and this is Roman numeral should. So we're going to be making a Roman numeral, and actually I'm going to try and do the translation to Roman numeral, and also from Roman numeral to this time we're going to do from Roman numeral to Arabic as well. So should return Roman for decimal. We're going to do this parameterized. This is a bit quicker, and yeah, there's a lot to do. So we're going to check that one returns that, and we want to have our int input and our string output. We also want to assert equals output we could make that into a field, in fact, and we want to initialize that in a setup. So cool. Okay, and we're setting equals that this will equal the output is going to be the same as Roman numeral dot convert. Well, we could use Roman for convert, and we're going to take in our input. Okay, and that should split this vertically. This should create a class, and we'll put this in the next page. Cool. And then we also want to create a method within the class that we can see our first test. So now within this test we're going to return the most naive, which is returning I. So that's going to make it pass. Great, because we've got our 1 and we're returning I. So now we're going to move to 2, and we're hoping that, well, we know that that's not going to work, so we can create input w equals 2, then return I. That's going to give us a solution for this one, but then we start to think, so we've got to think about a loop, really, haven't we, to move from the if statements to a loop. So we can say int I equals 0, I less than input, I plus plus, we can say, create a string builder, and then we can append to our result the I. And this should work for at least up to 3. Let's have a look and turn that to string, see what happens. Yep, so that's working for 2. So now we need to go on to 3 and see how that works. That's good. So now we're starting to think about our other options for our Roman numerals, and we're starting to think, well, actually it really is a list of different rules which we're going to have to follow, and the rules have to be in the right order. So in fact, the trick here is to really let's just firstly make this list. So Roman, and we're going to say I1 is our number. We can create a constructor number, could be decimal, I suppose, and then we're going to link that. Cool. Okay, so we can then say we can then loop over our single loop. We might be slightly so we're iterating over our list of values, which in this case is 1, and we're saying if input is greater than, if input is equal we're going to say if input is greater than or equal to Roman value, decimal, then we're going to do result append Roman .toString, and then we're going to input minus equals 1, and this will work, but we can see that we're going to have a list of if statements, and if we have a list of if statements, then we can start to think about a loop, and in this case we may want to use a while loop. So input minus equals 1, input is greater than, so this is only doing it once, so we want to have a while loop, and that's going to enable us to loop over each of the values and find one that fits, and then loop over that and add 1 each time. So literally it's just changing the Roman decimal and then adding our other numbers, so 5, 10, and that enables us to test for each of these. So we can say that 5 will return V, and that actually we can check for, we have to have our more precise elements here for 4, etc. So if we're having these rather awkward numbers I before one of our symbols, then we need to actually specify that, and then that can continue up to 9, for instance, which will return this, and also 10. So that's kind of covers translating from Roman to, so again here we need to have an exact one, so from decimal to Roman, so that's useful, but we also want to start to think about how to translate from Roman to Arabic. So we may want to take this series of tests and see if we can change them to make them return the Arabic number from, or the decimal number from the Roman. So we're just going to translate each of these. And then we are going to literally going to expect that we can come to translate the other way. Now this is going to be quite interesting, because we're going to see we're going to see how to add for this algorithm. So this one needs a map, and we're going to have to use characters because we're going to have to go backwards through the number, and we're going to have to check each one. So for instance, this one, we're going to have to take a character from the string, we're going to turn that into a number to start our result. So we're going to go int result, we're going to need a map as well, so we need to have a map of character, because we can only take characters from the string, and integer, and then we're going to have a numerals, so, and we'll take a map of at least up to 10 to start with. So let's say x, because we can't do our other algorithm of 2 characters, because we can only have 1 character in each of these character parts of the map. So we've got each of those. Then that's kind of our numerals map. Then we're going to take from the input.char@, input.length minus 1, and we're going to actually get that from the numerals. So we're going to say numerals.get input.char@, so that gets the numeral, and then we're going to say for int I equals input.length minus 2, because we're starting from the next one along now, so we're starting from here, and then we're going to do I less than greater than 0, I minus minus, so each time we're reducing, and then we're going to say if numerals dot get input dot char@, input dot length if numerals.getI is less than numerals char out I is less than numerals dot get input dot char at I plus 1. So if that one, so for instance this one is less than this one, then we're going to have to take away from our result. So for instance in this instance it would have been 10, so we need to take away, so we do result minus equals numerals dot get input dot char at I. Otherwise we just add to the result. That's quite a nice little algorithm to translate from our Roman to our so we've done something wrong here. Let's sort of check. So I believe this part of the algorithm is correct, but the order of the numerals is not quite right. So yeah, I think actually what I've done, this is quite a common one which I often do, is missing out this equals. So the problem is here that if we've got these two, we're not looping at all, because this gets to 0 and it's just not input.length minus 2 is actually 0, so it's just going to not do anything. So you've got to include the equals 0 as well for these shorter characters, and also until we get to that point at the end of the string. So that's gonna make this pass, and this is a nice algorithm. So you can actually use this to translate from Roman to decimal and decimal to Roman if you have the inclination. So big business possibility.